And assuming we're up, hello everybody. My name is Killer Chair, and this is BSG 03. I'd like to welcome you all, and I will be your host for the next couple of runs. Right now, we have the wonderful janglestorm playing Tiny Toon's Adventures 2, Montana's Movie Madness. So take it away.
All right, thanks, Killer Chair. Yeah, this is the start of the tiny handheld block, and of course, we start with a game called Tiny Toon Adventures because why not? So yeah, this is a game that I grew up with as a kid, and later on, like years later, I decided to speedrun it. So here we are. I can explain more about the game. I'll just start things off, and without further ado, let's just do this. As soon as I start time, as soon as I push start, that's in 3, 2, 1. Go! Right, so the lore of this game is there's this movie house that's been opened by none other than Montana Max, and the movies that are playing turn out to have Montana Max as the hero instead of Buster, who is portrayed as the villain. And of course we don't like that, so we're trying to enter those movies and fix the plots. So this game is very sort of straightforward, like a platformer. And we play as Buster, of course, and he is, as you can see, dashing throughout the entire game. And that's one of the main speed mechanics that you have here. There's some other things that you will see later on as well. And yeah, it's a fun time and all. And there's lots of hot gems too. So you got it all, hot gems, nice movie themes and such. Very recognizable. So let's see. First of all, yeah, we try not to hit those cacti. They of course, are very prickly, so we try not to hit them. And yeah, so we have the dash mechanic, but we also try to sometimes cancel the dash. So there's an example over here where we try to run down without getting struck by the boulders. So we just basically run for a bit. Oh damn! I was trying to just stop running. Because that at least allows us to keep the momentum. Otherwise, you see the slipping animation, which I usually try to avoid there. And you see that here as well, so I just instant drop down. It's a bit faster, it's kind of nice. So in this case, we just go the top route. It's a pretty safe way to go through this. I believe down below is actually an item that you could pick up, this Go-Go Dodo, which would give you like a bonus game within the level, and of course that's a bit more time consuming, so we opt to not go for that. We also watch out for these enemies with crates. And that was very nice actually. I just basically cancelled my dash and instantly took it out. The thing is with those crates is you have to sort of anticipate them, or you'll most likely run into them, so yeah, that would be unfortunate. So the first boss fight, and surprise, it's Montana Max. Every single boss fight will basically be us fighting against him. And every boss fight is always taking 3 hits. So in that sense, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing too complex about it. So that's basically it. So at the end of the level, we have a score count. You see the amount of carrots that we collected, the time, and the amount of lives that we have. It's actually possible to speed it up there if we would have less life left or something. It's a matter of frames really, but it's possible that way. Alright, who's ready for some basketball? We try to make sure that Blocky Duck is not blocking our basketball moves. We just try to hit 3 consecutive goals. Oh, that was unfortunate. There was a bit of RNG there. Let's try again. There we go. Ideally, I would have 3 in a row, but that wasn't one of those times. But, you know, we won, so that's still good. Alright, the benefit of winning minigames is that you can skip that animation that you just saw there, or that cutscene. You will see it at some point, because there's one minigame that we're gonna deliberately lose, because it's actually faster. But first we're gonna play the second level, so it's a samurai themed level called Samurai Saga. Very stylish. You'll see lots of stylistic flourishes that are very much reminding of samurai era stuff. So there we go. So on this screen we have this rooftop, and you see these lanterns, there's those that look a bit different, and those are the ones that you have to watch out for because they drop down. And in this case we kind of try to dash, kick, jump our way through in order to not lose too much time. But that went pretty well. Alright, so this is a pretty long room. At the end of this room there's 2 doors that I can that I can choose from. I'm gonna go into the right door because I feel like it's generally faster to play through, but it could depend really. There's a test of this which actually does the left room and does so really quickly. Also have to deal with the fire RNG. Sometimes you see fire appear, you know, it's okay, but you have to be sort of on the watch for that. See, gonna take advantage of that vent that's being thrown. That was a pretty okay room. If you will get hit, that would take a little bit longer, of course. Okay, so in this room we have water that could submerge us, so we have to make sure that we don't get drowned in it, so we have to wait for these cycles to play out. That's fine. Again, this is also where I have to wait for just a bit. But that was fine. And yeah, this level has a lot of falling platforms, as you can see. So I'm basically trying to run over them. I'll get too stuck on them for too long because that's the thing, but this is one of those exceptions because I can drop down here and hit an enemy. So sometimes I do this kick in order to stun them, and that makes me able to run past them. So that's a strat that I will do here every now and then, and in this screen I will do the same thing as I run up these rooftops. That buster is pretty fast. But yeah, over here, I basically do a kick jump, make my way to the exit. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But this section in general is kind of hard to really do lots of dashing on because there's lots of moving platforms, and sometimes the best way to cancel the dash is just by holding back. So you see this slipping animation, which takes a couple of frames longer, so the chances that you will fall through the falling platforms is a bit bigger, so it's a bit risky. Alright, time for the next boss fight. It's gonna be Montana Max in samurai attire, and the main strat here is to jump on exactly the same moment that you see that fan appear, so that way you can easily squeeze yourself in between there. So that's that makes a quick work of this boss fight. I'm still at full health, so it will take a little bit longer. So you get 50 points per extra heart that you still have. So I guess in a certain way you'd ideally want to have only like 50 points, so that only counts down. It's 1 frame per second or something like that. Anyway, time for some tug of war. We're gonna lose this minigame, because this game is actually relatively tough to complete. So yeah, poor Buster, just drowning. Almost about to get eaten by a shark. The main thing, like I said, is you see this animation, you see Sweetie Pie chase after this bookworm. And that's what you don't see if you do finish the minigame with a win. Alright, who's ready to go to the future? I hope I am. This is actually the level that I made it to as a kid. I never managed to beat the game, but ever since running this game I've been able to do so. So yeah, you see robots and there's moving platforms, and very soon you'll see a couple of very relatively risky jumps that I'm trying to do. It's coming up soon. I'm hoping to get the jump. See, should be fine. Yeah, there we go. There's a couple of other platforms that you see, but I skipped those by doing that jump, so it's a nice time save. Also, again, really good music. As you may have heard, the boss fights all have that can music playing, so it's a very distinct thing. I'm not sure why I jumped there the way I did. That's fine. As long as you don't take a full game over, you can actually restart from the same screen, so that's pretty cool. And there's still a couple of continues, so finishing the game is not the most difficult thing ever, just yeah, you have to be careful eventually. That, by the way, was the Go-Go Dodo I was talking about. If I would pick up that item, or that character, I guess, I would have gotten the bonus game. Alright, it's time for some Battletoads action, perhaps? Not really Battletoads, but I steer this device. And it's some auto-scrolling. This first part is a bit samey, so it's probably a good time for some donations or info if you have that.
Sure. What I could mention is something that a lot of people may have or may know is that if you have Prime Gaming, formerly known as Twitch Prime, you can drop your subscription right here on the ESA channel, which will give you access to ESA emotes as well as BSG emotes, and you get to support both the events.
Alright, so now we're in the next part of this level, of this auto-scroll. And this is where things start getting a little bit more interesting, because suddenly you realize that you can only steer up until the middle part of the screen. And I just goofed up there. There's some blind jumps there where you have to guess where you're supposed to enter the wall, break through the wall. But yeah, there's some leaps of sorts that you can do. And especially at the end of this stretch, it will be noticeable, but you'll see that soon enough. Let's first see if I can finally get through here. There we go. This is probably the part that I got stuck on as a kid, because these blind jumps are something alright. Okay, here's the big one, so basically take a big jump, then head over here. As soon as you know how to do that, it's not too bad. Alright, and what comes after that? Well, of course, electricity field. What would you expect? So, you just try to dash here and there. Make sure not to get hit by the electricity, because it's everywhere. Just gotta wait for a little bit. You have a little bit of iframe, a little bit of in the way of iframes, but not too many, so yeah, it's probably still best to wait. Okay, this section we have a couple more robot enemies, some that split up in two. So you see the head, the legs, they kind of walk off, and as I found out, they don't actually have hitboxes, so that's a thing too. Maybe kick some televisions, kick some TVs, because why not? Okay, one more screen. This has some crushers that we have to get underneath. I usually wait for them, because if I start this up too soon, you'll see my animation there. You don't want to see it. Okay. The nice thing is that you can actually kick that TV, even if it's about to send off a spark. So, it's pretty safe in general. Alright, it's time for another boss fight. So we now fight Robomax, I guess. Of course, Robomax consists of multiple pieces. For this part I'm sticking to the right side, because I have to avoid these flying arms and legs. And it's easier to avoid them from the right side, I find in general, so gives a bit more space. Also because Max usually heads off to the left side. And yeah, just jump. And I hope to avoid it whilst the can is playing once more. So sorry, please. And there we go. That was a bit scary, because I only had 1 health left, but it was still fine. You see? Buster agrees. So yeah, that's 3 out of 4 stages. We had Western, we had Samurai stage, we had the Future, and yeah, before we head off into the next level, we have one more minigame. Our friends are basically helping us out this way, just to have a fun time. And now we play a game of soccer. I'm not terribly good at soccer, but this is probably the best that I can do. And technically it's not really just a soccer game, but it's more like a game of juggling the soccer balls and guide them towards the goal. So you want to score 15 goals, and I'm trying to score 15 of them in succession, so I don't miss any of them. And again, I want to make sure that I win this minigame to win some time with not seeing the cutscene. Okay, after this one, there's a bit of a weird setup. Namely, it's kind of a reverse thing where I kind of have to hit the outer left one first before continuing the juggle towards the goal. But that was all 15 in a row, so there you go. Alright, now for some scarier times. Who's ready for monster movies? I hope you are. So this level has a lot of bats in it, and I'm saying that because it's kind of essential as to how I go through this game, or go through this level, because I try to anticipate those cycles and respond to them in a certain way in terms of making certain dash jumps as such. You'll see that over here too. So here's a couple, I'll jump on them, and then a run up here. I can, if I time it well, I can actually run right in between there, and I can get through without any issue whatsoever. But yeah, I took a hit there, but that's fine still. I'm taking this a little bit safer because I've never really found a way to speed this up consistently, so I'm taking it a bit slower there. So now we have these doors. First we have these paintings, and one of them is talking, and the one that's talking is corresponding with the door. So the first painting is talking, which means we have to enter the first door. And yes, let's go darn G. So now we enter this room. Oh damn. There we go. The thing here is to make early jumps, because the bats will approach somewhat early on, so I have to keep that in mind. Same here. And I gotta make sure not to jump up too high, because I can hit that I can hit the chandelier on the ceiling, and of course it burns me up, so better not do that. Okay, now we got some water sections. I'm basically trying to climb all the way up, and this is where the dash also comes in handy, because the dash allows me to jump higher as well. So as you can see, I'm making these massive leaps upwards and trying to get to the next block to stand on, and that makes it very easy for me to escape the water. Right, and as you would expect, there's another round of that, because we haven't had enough of that apparently. So there we go. And I gotta make sure not to jump towards that where there's nothing. I also have to see where I can see a platform, because that's actually where I need to go next. You cannot expect to see anything where there's nothing. Okay, so here's another room with paintings. This time around I have to sort of see what they're saying. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2. So that means I have to have door 3, because that's the only one that's not being implied by these paintings. If I would have gotten the combination wrong, or if I would have gotten the door wrong, I would have had to replay a previous part. But at least we got that. So this room looks really similar to where I was before, except now the bat jumps are much later, so I can anticipate it accordingly that way. And it makes me able to dash through this really nicely. Alright, it's time for another boss fight. Now we have the massive monster Max, or Maxkenstein, or whatever. I basically have to make sure that after the first hit, I sort of dash and jump around, and not to overshoot my jump, because that's still possible too. I've had it happen before. But anyway, that was on 1 health, not too bad. And yeah, we've had 4 movies, so you wonder what comes next. Well, we have one more thing to do, and that's to go to Montana Max's studio and play through all of the levels once more. Don't worry, they're not nearly as long this time. It's just 1 screen each. So we start off with the Western once again. Got more of this lovely hot jam. There we go. Yeah, you see all these camera mice, I guess, running around as well. So you can totally tell that this is a movie. Yeah, I know. Sorry to break the dream. This was all just a movie. So we got this. There's a bit of a precise jump coming up. There we go. Just from the ledge of that one rooftop. I can include it in the dash. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Okay. Here we got some more of these jumps. Another kick jump. Alright, and then on to the monster movie once again. I'm gonna try for something that might save me time, so I'm gonna see. Nice, got it. So that move there, it's a bit precise, but if you time it right, then you can basically run underneath there. You don't have to worry about it, that enemy whatsoever, so you can just keep going. I got a new world record in this the other day, and I wasn't able to get it there, so that's a nice improvement for sure. But yeah, after all that, it's time to meet Montana Max once more, and yeah, it's literally 3 hits and that's it. So what we have to do is, we have to turn the switch, and basically hit as soon as the punch comes out, and that's when I can hit max, otherwise you get iframes. Alright, so time is as soon as I do the last hit, so get ready for that. See, and time.
GG, well
There
done.
we go. Yeah, so we saved the movies. There you go. Buster is the hero once again. So, now let's see how Montana Max is doing. He's all upset, of course. No more movies, my chance to be a famous director and a celebrity and talk show guest. It has all gone down the drain. Wah! So yeah, that was a mission. We just had to beat Montana Max, and this is well, it's like normal mode, but they called it the easy course. There's a harder mode that you can get to as well. I haven't played that yet, but it actually gives you 1 less heart, and the bosses, so Montana Max in this case, the boss always has 5 hearts instead of 3, so it's a bit less balanced and therefore harder, I guess. So yeah, that was this game, and I believe I got a 20-30 or something, but yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. I can definitely recommend playing this game if you want to speedrun a GBA game. It's a nice, fun little game, and it's tiny huge, you know, what's not to love. So, yeah, thanks to BSG Online for letting this in. Also, shouts to the other runner of this game, Kane of Pachi, who's I guess, inspired me to run this game as well, so shoutouts. And yeah, be sure to keep donating, it's for a good cause. And I'll be back tomorrow with an SNES game called Indiana Jones, so it should be even more fun times. Hopefully I'll see you then. Until then, enjoy the marathon.